From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
This is a primetime news bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV. My name is Israel Lai, and the bulletin is available across Europe on London-based ABN television. In this edition, President Mahama swears in 5 new justices of the appeals court, including former Ghanaian Chief Justice of the Gambia. Thousands of government employees may not receive their pay at the end of January due to a failure by their unit heads to validate their salaries. Traders at the NEMA Market, one of Accra's oldest, forced to extend their business onto the adjoining street, are calling for a new modern market befitting the suburb. Thousands displaced in demolition exercise are attempting to make way for a road project. And in business, government says all bids for government tenders will from next month be submitted only through electronic means following the launch of the procurement service website. There's also sports, showbiz and international news all coming up in the next 60 minutes. To stay tuned.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
Now, very first story. President Mahama has appointed 5 new justices to Ghana's appeals court. The 5 who were sworn in Wednesday at the Flagstaff House include a former Ghanaian Chief Justice of the Gambia who had to flee the country for her life. President Mahama announced the release of some $5 million for the judicial service beginning March. Gifty Andwapia has more.
We're not only going to continue providing fiscal infrastructure in the form of court buildings, but we will also expand on our e-justice program, which we are already rolling out. From March this year, 2015, we'll be injecting an additional $5 million into the e-justice project. And I'm looking forward to the program enhancing, expanding, and improving on our justice delivery system.
3 of the 5 justices, L.L. Mensah, Henry Kofi, and G.S. Surabari, were elevated to the appeals court from the High Court, whilst Justice Angelina Domachare is joining the bench after serving a number of years at the bar. Justice Mabel Ajimai, on the other hand, is a former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Gambia. She was removed by the country's president 6 months after her appointment for taking orders from the embassy of a hostile country. Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete in March last year indicated she had met Justice Mabel Ajimai after her flight from the Gambia and said she had undergone a traumatic experience. Stressing the importance of the judicial system to investors, President John Mahama urged the new justices to carry out their mandate in fairness and soberly uphold the rule of law.
While confidence in our judiciary is high, there are few instances in which foreign investors or business people have complained of a manipulation of our security and justice system by locals who have either defrauded them or have litigation with them. This brings us especially to the area of gold scams and others where people are able to manipulate the system to be able to defraud investors who come into our country. It is my hope that we will pay attention to these in order that we continue to maintain Ghana as an attractive investment destination.
Justice L.L. Mensah spoke on behalf of his colleague judges.
We want to assure His Excellency that we shall perform our duties without fear or favor, affection or hero, and that we shall, with due diligence, industry, candor, and above all, integrity, sit on our basis. I also want to assure the people of Ghana that we shall not fail them.
Present at the ceremony was Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood, Chief of Staff Prosper Bani, Ministers of State, and Justices of the Supreme Court. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Flagstaff House.
Ghanaians will be voting for their local government representatives in district level and unit committee elections slated for March 3. Though the assemblymen and unit committee members who are elected are supposed to lead the development of their areas, most people rarely show interest in these elections. Emmanuel Ante reports contestants in the election in the La Nkwantanang Medina municipality here in Accra are, however, not relenting in their efforts to win over the population.
You are greeted with posters of candidates on walls, signposts, and trees. There is competition for space to post a bill of the candidates, as some hang on trees and electric poles. Candidates are seriously campaigning, trying to sell their ideas to prospective voters. It's not been easy, especially for the new aspirants. They have nonetheless found a way around the challenge.
Very difficult, but because looking at the electoral area that I'm contesting, the place, the population is very high, so I'm finding it very difficult because I now begin house-to-house campaign, which I'm on it seriously, and there's no finance, nobody supporting, so I'm finding it very difficult, but I think with God, all things will be possible.
Mustafa, who is contesting at the unit committee level at Medina West, prefers to join the campaign wagon of the incumbent assemblyman.
Sometimes I go out with the current sitting assemblyman. We go around and explain more things to our people. So sometimes I go with a sitting assemblyman because he always perform nice performance and make sure he bring more development to our community. We don't have a road. We don't have a gutters.
The assemblyman for the Medina West electoral area says convincing the electorate to come out and vote has been a major challenge, and has charged the NCCE and the Electoral Commission to intensify education.
People are not willing to come and vote when it's assembly elections. People don't take assembly elections very serious. So I want them, even though we as an assembly members or we as a candidate are doing our best to convince people to come out using the mosque, using the churches, using any occasions to advise for the people to come out to take assembly elections seriously, to come out to vote. I will still believe that these organizations, to NCC and the EC, should also try and then intensify the campaign for the people to come out to vote and to vote massively.
But the apathy is widespread. Rosemary Dodu, a resident of Medina East, has not even heard about the election and would rather concentrate on her business. Do you know about the district level election that is about coming up?
Please, no, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. But do you know your assemblyman?
No. Assemblyman,
But Charles Owusu, a shoemaker, says he is well informed about the district level election and will be voting.
District yano. Tise district no omune assemblyman for ne omo so besi enam tise de MPC ni work constituency kase no. The assemblyman for ne mpatam ane de omune ye mpatam asoso a omo su gina enam ye beto aba ayi omune unit committee for no money ade omune hwe ye mpatam amai.
Ahmed Tinjani has been following the exploits of the current assemblyman of his area and will want to vote to retain him. Now, what in your area that is most pressing that you want the newly elected or the one that will be elected as the assemblyman for your area to tackle?
Okay, our problem so far has been the drainage and the water problem and the lighting. And about lights, but so far, as I'm concerned, the assemblyman has done well with the street lights, and also with the drainage too is trying his best. As you can see, the drainage work is progressing, it's ongoing as I'm talking with you now. And the third one is about if you have problem, assemblyman insists you to solve your problem. If police station, the market woman is doing his best. So we know that we are going to give him another term to continue his.
The Municipal Chief Executive of La Nkwantanang Medina Municipal Assembly, Franklin Ankuhu, says the Assembly has done its part in whipping up interest urged the electorate to come out and vote qualified people into office.
Do not take interest in this kind of elections. That is where we cannot even get the good caliber of people to come and represent them at the assembly level. Therefore, the decision that will be taken at assembly level will not be unique. So everybody must take that responsibility. Let's ensure and make sure that somebody that we all cherish, somebody that we all desire that can go and represent us is elected. But when you sit down, when you sit aloof, you know, like it is said that, excuse my language, when you are too wise to go to a meeting, the fools go to decide for you. That is what will go and happen. So those who are literate, they are the very people normally who shy away from this kind of elections. And the few that join the bandwagon are those of us who do not know anything about anything. They go to vote people that they think that they are closer to. That, okay, these are assembly members. And they come to the assemblies, and believe you me, contributions on the floor of the assembly to issues are nothing good to write home about. So I think that this time around, all residents must come out to make sure that they take interest in these elections.
From all indications, there is still work to be done if the district and unit committee system is to play its role effectively in the country's development process. But this has to start with massive participation by the electorate. Manolante, Joy News, Medina, Accra.
In other news, over 1,000 homes and shops at Teshi here in Accra have been pulled down in the demolition exercise on Wednesday to make way for a road. The demolition exercise, which began from the stretch behind the Teshi police station, is set to continue through the Lekma Hospital Road to join the Manet Spintex Road. Houses behind the Teshi police barracks, Yomo Specs, Agbliza and Lekma Hospital were all affected in an operation supervised by the Lejokuku Krowo Municipal Assembly with heavy police presence. Though residents confirmed receiving compensation to relocate, they had pleaded for the public toilet to be spared by the demolitions, except the demolition squad will not budge.
The demolition, which began around 8 Wednesday morning, affected many buildings. Affected residents who spoke to the news team said they were given compensation to relocate from the area.
I'm going to 21st. She never got what you know. You see the beer. I'm a bomb meter said, I'm a number GG meter say, Jomagan 10 o'clock. I'm a barani. I'm back to train. No, why you told me what to do? No, I'm back. Now my body Nibia Kumo.
Yeah, I always some baby, but someone can say maybe a nana say, or China on baby boo. The young one is almost at 10 o'clock. It's the Obian and Tentanobian, Sunny Nema. If you are not poor by a baby, Minema, maybe I can contain an army fan, almost your mum, Pennomody, when you see Mugan and no Mububu. Says a Miss Minibia, Communio, or car over my miska.
Meanwhile, the municipal chief executive said Baidu has advised residents to cooperate. He said the demolition will last for 3 days. He assured the residents the road construction will be completed in 6 months.
Activities at the NEMA Market in the Yawaso East District of the Greater Accra region is gradually beginning to extend to the streets, exposing the traders to great danger from vehicles plying that road. The traders, however, believe the problem is simply a case of congestion, as the market has become too small to accommodate them. Chairman of the NEMA Market Association, Alhaji Abdul Mumin Taylor, believes it is high time a modern market is built to replace the over 50-year-old facility. Aisha Ibrahim visited the market today and has come through with this report.
The NEMA Market is one of the oldest and biggest in Accra.
The NEMA Market has been around since 1962, but the market has not seen any renovation since its establishment.
On a typical market day, traders from all walks of life come to shop here. Others from as far as Togo, Niger, Burkina Faso, Nigeria and Mali also come to buy and sell. But the market now lacks space to accommodate the many people that patronize it.
As you can see, the whole market is congested and market women now display their wares on the streets.
We are pleading with government to create sheds for us so that we can move away from the street. The traders must move away from the street because it is very risky as the vehicles can cause harm to them.
Bakin street nan su shiga kasuwa she motocin da ke tafiya su ma su samu hanya su je su park gefe domin yanzu inda mota dai saya wurin aka aje kaya to yanzu ina mota dai saya.
This also creates a lot of traffic around the market, especially on a market day.
I'm currently with the chairman of the NEMA Market Association, and he tells me that this is an old market and it has numerous challenges. He'll help us understand what those challenges are.
Yeah, we are facing so many challenges as you see. Coming in the markets, you find so many challenges difficult because why? We have congested people. Entering, you find difficult. On the roadside, people find difficult, so cars can pass. How can you make market on the road? Become fossil, because where we are is very smaller than the people who are using the market. That's where people are on the roadside. Always we talk with AM boss so that he should come to our aid. But still now, we are not getting him.
Chairman of the NEMA Market Association is worried the market lacks even basic amenities, including toilet facilities.
Our structures, everything very poor. If it's an sanitation program, we find difficult. At the end of the market, to collect the rubbish is a problem. And the rubbish will stay there unless we go with the Zoom lions so before they come and collect our rubbish. So facility of the toilet and where people pass urine, we don't have even one. At every blessed day, the MA workers are going around, collect everyone of us 50 pesos for everybody, daily. And secondly, at the end of the month, they call something like ground rent for the land. People are paying 100 Ghana cedis, 50 Ghana cedis. But still, we don't have nothing. Authority, we are begging for authorities to build our market and put all the facility.
Wednesdays are market days at NEMA. The overcrowding created by activities here is slowly affecting other businesses, since many have resolved to boycott the area entirely on Wednesdays. So, until the AMA fulfills its promise of building a modern market for the area, the traders will continue to risk their lives by displaying their wares on the streets, compounding the traffic situation in the area for both humans and vehicles. And until then, you may also want to think twice should you have to go to the area for business on Wednesday when the market is busiest. Aisha
Ibrahim put together that report. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more stuff. The Ministry of Gender, Women and Social Protection has begun the process of drafting a national strategic framework and coordinating mechanism for eliminating early and forced child marriages in the country.
Ghana is said to have one of the highest child marriage prevalence rates in the world. According to the Ghana Demographic Health Survey in 2008, about 25% of women between 20 to 24 years were married or married before their 18th birthday. Poverty, gender inequality, religion, teenage pregnancy with customs and tradition accounting as the highest cause of this practice. Between 2005 and 2010, the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit of the Ghana Police Service recorded 69 reported cases of forced marriages. This figure, according to the Gender Ministry, is far below the real situation on the ground.
The Gender Ministry, through a 3-year project, is hoping to end this practice.
The ultimate focus of the project is eliminating child marriage in Ghana. Many think it's rather ambitious, but that is the whole essence. We really deliberately want to end child marriage in Ghana, and this is the beginning point. We want to work with various organizations, institutions, individual, community-based groups, traditionalists, everybody who has a stake, interest, and a role to end child marriage. It's going to be very rigorous, it's going to be very engaging, and hopefully, over a period, we shall see an end to the practice in our dear country.
The project also seeks to establish a national framework for key stakeholders on how to effectively prevent and respond to cases of child marriages.
We are very confident that, one, by the time we have exhausted the 3 years that this project has signed up for, the goodwill is going to get a lot of people on board. Because even before, by the time we started, so many local-based organizations, international partners have said this is a great idea. It looks like we're going to make the mark we're looking for. So we believe that by the time we execute what we're thinking now thoroughly, we are going to get a lot of people willingly supporting us, and they may not require support, but they would have bought into the ideas. The agenda will be their agenda. People would have incorporated, NGOs would have incorporated it in their plans, government institutions would have incorporated it in their plans, and then we'll move forward.
Many of the incidents of forced marriages remain unreported because many of the victims do not have the capacity to seek legal support. The Anti-Child Marriage Project will employ various interventions, particularly behavior change communication.
Matilda Humaga for Joy News, Accra.
The National Psychiatric Authority is carrying out a program dubbed Operation Clear the Streets to remove mentally challenged persons from the street. This may come as good news to families who would want to see some dignity restored to their mentally challenged relatives.
The stigma associated with mental illness still persists, regardless of the existence of the mental health law. Government provision and funding for general hospital and primary health care-based services is sorely inadequate. Only 1.4% of the health expenditure goes to mental health, and spending is very much skewed towards urban areas. All these have culminated into the poor state of mental health system in the country, leaving mental health patients on the streets, posing danger to people and great disservice to tourism. So what is the motivation behind the Operation Clear the Streets? Amina Bukar is the national coordinator of the Mental Health Authority.
When the Mental Health Authority came on, one of their main aim is to clear the street off the mental patients, and we are starting from Accra. We will extend it to the other regions because we have to prepare somewhere where we have to keep them, to treat them. When they get well, they go home. The way the public is not helping us, because if you come to your region or your area, they should all come together and tell us, you have one here, you have one there. But everybody stares at us and look at us as if they belong to us, as if they are our personal problem of the stigma. And everybody wants a good family name. So if you are saying you are hiring a room in NEMA, you came alone and they discharge your relative to bring to the house, the people will be reluctant. They say, we didn't know that you yourself, you are mad. You are going to bring a mad person here. We can't stay with him. That's why they are reluctant. But some people to receive them wholeheartedly, and they are doing very, very well in their regions.
The senior house officer, Dr. Osei Asare, says the operation is risky, hence the cautious and professional approach in execution.
Actually, there's a selection criteria. We want to keep the street as clean as possible. So if you see someone, you can tell whether it's a chronic condition or it's an acute. If we say acute, it's something that has, just started. When you see someone who is neglecting the personal hygiene, talking to himself, maybe lying on the streets at risk of being knocked down by a vehicle or something, we cannot do any preliminary investigations on the spot. But what we do is that we assess whether the person is going to be aggressive. In the case of people who are going to be aggressive, then we give them some medication to keep them calm so that we can take them and then we do the rehabilitation at our hospital. So that's, how we go about it.
For Operation Clear the Streets to succeed, there is the need for duty bearers to increase funding to mental health care and ensure equitable distribution to all mental health facilities across the country. Latif Idris, reporting for Joy News.
The Volta Regional Police Command has intercepted 481 slabs of compressed dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp. The items were seized in 2 separate busts, with the first incident involving 22-year-old Angela Boachi arrested on Sunday morning at the Pomvi barrier.
Angela Boachi was transporting the substance concealed in a basket and covered with okra from V. Kolenu to Accra. She, however, admitted she was conveying the items to one Alhaji in Accra, but refused to mention his name. She is in police custody whilst investigations are ongoing. The second incident involved 2 gentlemen, Ahmed Haruna, 39, and Castro Akoto, 24, transporting 7 maxi sacks containing 146 slabs of compressed dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp. They were arrested by the police highway patrol around Frankadria on Sunday around 5 p.m. Ahmed Haruna and his accomplice Castro Akoto were transporting the dried leaves in a Land Cruiser Prado with a fake diplomatic number CD 128-13 from Zemeni to Accra. The Regional Crime Officer, Chief Superintendent James Kofi Abraham, briefed Joy News on the incident.
Possession of narcotic drugs without authority. One involves a lady called Angela Boachi, 22. She was arrested yesterday at the Pomvi barrier with 35 slabs of compressed dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp, concealed in a basket and covered with fresh okra. She's been in our custody and we are processing her. Then we have another one. That one, 2 people were arrested yesterday at about 5 p.m. They were using a Land Cruiser Prado vehicle with fake diplomatic registration number. When we did further inquiries, we saw some document which indicate that the vehicle's actual number is very short, 5985. But because they wanted to beat the security personnel on the road, the intelligence of the security personnel on the road, they fixed this fake diplomatic number in order to outwit. But the security men were smart enough, they stopped.
Chief Superintendent James Kofi Abraham admonished the general public to help the police in identifying persons engaging in illegal possession and transportation of Indian hemp. A report by Fred Kwame Asare.
Public sector employees whose unit heads have not validated and certified their January salaries are unlikely to be paid this month. It is feared employees in about 30 government institutions, including the Ministry of Finance, local government, and Controller and Accountant General's Department, will be affected. The Director in charge of Procurement and Supply Chain Management at the head of the Civil Service, Dr. Afote Walters, says the various unit heads will also be held responsible. We're taking a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you business news with Abigail Adumakwenchi.
Well, we bring you all the business updates. As always, my name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. First of the all bids for government tenders from next month will have to be done electronically, and it follows the launch of the Government of Ghana Procurement Service website. Officials say all information on procurement of physical goods, products and capital assets will be made available online, so interested individuals and businesses can apply.
According to the Director in charge of Procurement and Supply Chain Management at the Civil Service, Dr. Afote Walters, the website will track information related to procured assets and resources with regard to quantity, quality, location, planning and tracking. The process will also track personnel and their resources in relation to availability and location. He assured that government's processes on the supply chain and procurement are more accountable and transparent.
Now, You might have also heard before that some contractors had said a few years ago that when there are tenders, they go in and they say, oh, the schedule officer who said the tender document is not around. And then they leave, they come back again, and they say the tender documents are finished. So you don't have the opportunity to participate. This is to increase transparency in the tendering process. Why? Because now the tenders will be uploaded on the website. You don't need to travel from your office to any ministry to buy a tender document. You don't have to. You can just download it from the website. Now, every single Ghanaian who thinks is qualified and is eligible to contest will just download and apply. If you meet the requirements, you go through.
Since most government websites are rarely updated, the news team sought to ask how often the websites will be updated.
This has a dedicated web manager managing it. And you see, procurement and supply chain management. Wherever procurement and supply chain management fails, the economic collapses or the institution collapses. And one of the things we would not want to do is to have a website which does not work. If it doesn't work, we collapse government business. And that is not going to happen. We're here to make sure we bring savings, better deals to government, improve government expenditure, and bring confidence in the supply market wanting to do business with government. So this system, this website will be activated on a daily basis because there is a dedicated web manager for it.
The website is www.ggps.gov.gh.
Well, electronic always makes things easier. Meanwhile, the director in charge of procurement and supply chain management at the head of civil service has assured all the loopholes that allow fraudulent transactions under the current procurement law will be sealed once government is done with its amendment. According to Dr. Afote Waters, the amendment, which should be finalized by mid-2015, will also deal with the controversial issue of sole sourcing.
The issue of judgment debt should be brought to zero, and budget overruns, we're working with the Ministry of Finance to make sure that budget overruns as a result of procurement is also eliminated. These are the kind of things we want to do in this group. And as we move to take over the management of procurement throughout the civil service, you can be sure that as we go forward from here, the question of single sourcing will be managed in accordance with the law and should be part of the approved process.
So away from electronic bidding, inflation in the prices of goods and services produced by industries for December 2014 decreased to 34.2% from 37.6% in November 2014. The Ghana Statistical Service attributes the fall to a reduction in the inflation recorded in the manufacturing subsector. The ex-factory prices of goods for all industry between December 2013 and December 2014 reduced by 34.2%. This means that compared to November 2014, the PPI decreased 3.5 percentage points. The monthly inflation rate for December 2014 was negative 1.0%. The Statistical Service attributes the decrease in the PPI mainly to the manufacturing subsector, recording an average of 33.1%.
Because manufacturing has a share of about 2/3 of the entire index for production, whenever manufacturing falls, it has a big impact on the entire index.
The service, although cannot make projections, explains changes in world prices of gold and instability of the city could impact on the PPI.
One key area where we have world market prices affecting the index is in the area of mining and quarrying, where gold constitutes about 90% of the weight in that subsector. And because gold is mainly sold on the world market. Any changes in world market prices for gold have a direct effect on our producer price index, particularly the mining and quarrying subsector. But any marginal changes in our exchange rate, which tends to increase in terms of cedis, what producers earn from the sale of gold, would impact on our index.
The mining and quarrying subsector recorded the highest year-on-year PPI rate of 43.3%, while the utilities subsector recorded an inflation rate of 27.5%.
Away from the local front to the international front, Greek financial markets were in turmoil on Wednesday after the new anti-bailout government appeared determined to defy the country's international creditors. Now, new Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras said his party could not disappoint voters which had elected them. Greek 5-year bond yields jumped to 13.5%, reflecting fears investors may not get their money back. And that's where we end the business news. My name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. George Ade Jr. comes up shortly with sports.
Well, now time to talk some sports, and we'll begin with news on the African Cup of Nations. Certainly, the Black Stars do not know who they are playing after Guinea drew 1-1 with Mali. Ivory Coast are going to play Algeria in the next stage of the competition, but there's going to be a drawing of lots tomorrow to find out who plays Ghana in the quarterfinal. Before all of that, though, Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan has described this year's Nations Cup as the toughest of his 5 appearances so far. Ghana lost to Senegal but beat South Africa and Algeria to top a difficult Group C, and Gyan, despite scoring the win against Algeria, says this year's competition is on a totally new level.
This African Cup of Nations is the most toughest one I've ever played. This is my 5th one, and this is the most toughest African Cup of Nations. You could see throughout this group, every country qualified at the 3rd game of the competition. You could see how tough this particular African Cup of Nations is. We continue working hard, and we are in the knockout stages right now. We need to keep on winning games to go further in the competition.
Well, we can still talk about the Black Stars, and meanwhile, Chairman of the Black Stars Management Committee, George Free, says the Black Stars are ready to face any opponent in their quest to win this year's trophy.
When you are going to a competition where it's in a group format, you lose one game, you can even draw one and win one and qualify. You can even win one and then still even qualify. And so we were still optimistic. We were sure, well, it's a game of football. We've lost the first game, we can still go ahead and win the second game. And history is also there to guide us. And so this is not the first time we've been through this. I remember, like you rightly put it, even at the under 20 level, it happened to us. Against the first team, Egypt, we lost. We won the next game and then the next game, and we progressed all the way to the finals. We are taking one game at a time. We are ready. We are Ghana, and we are ready. We don't want to say we want Team A or Team B, but whichever team come our way, we are ready to face them.
Well, Ghana's opponent for the quarterfinal is still not known yet after Guinea drew 1-1 with Mali. Very difficult to separate them on the tie stand. But Ivory Coast have topped the group as we speak because they beat Cameroon by 1-0. That means the Cameroon are out of this. The only goal coming through the man Gradale. Here are some highlights of the game.
Now, we all love good music. In fact, music which gives us a certain connection to where we come from, our cultural heritage and our roots. Gone are the days when we dance to that kind of music. One of the musicians who made us feel this way was J.A. Adolfo. In an exclusive interview, this musician says the kind of music on our airwaves today must really be looked at again to redeem our decency as a country with values.
For censorship, according to him, one was required to have songs that basically had decent lyrics and also was inspirational and taught life lessons. Opoba J.A. Adolfo also adds that these days DJs do not like to promote their type of songs but are only interested in promoting the current crop of songs on the market. Well, as a musician, he also shares with us why he would close his eyes when he is singing. Oboba, who also says he releases 2 songs a year, also has this advice for his colleagues and the young musicians on the market currently. He would not end this conversation without explaining to us that he had lost his mother of 103 years, the reason why he is in black.
Before we go a quick run through our top stories, President Mahama sworn in 5 new justices of the appeals court, including a former Ghanaian Chief Justice of the Gambia. Thousands of government employees may not receive their pay at the end of January due to a failure by their unit heads to validate their salaries. Traders at the NEMA Market, one of Accra's oldest, forced to extend their business onto the adjoining street, are calling for a new modern market befitting the service. Thousands of displaced people in a demolition exercise at Teshi, or thousands have been displaced in the demolition exercise at Teshi to make way for a road project. And then government says all bids for government tenders will from next month be submitted only through the electronic means following the launch of the procurement service website. And that'll be all for the bulletin. My name is Rizulai. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening.